They say everything is bigger in Texas, apparently including Anthony Davis, who has gained significant weight, leading some Mavs fans to be concerned that they're right back in the situation they were in with Luka Doncic. Plus, D'Angelo Russell had some choice comments about his time with the Mavericks and what it means compared to his other stops. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. The guy laughing over there is Donnie Freeman. Donnie, how are you doing? And I know this is muscle watch time of the year where guys put on 15 pounds of muscle. I think Mavs fans are concerned that AD put on 15 pounds of not muscle.
That intro is so out of pocket. Everything is bigger and so is AD. Man. Yeah, this summer hasn't been a muscle summer. It's been weight management summer.
It's been weight loss, hasn't it? And Luka, right?
Yeah, like it's that, and then AD
Zion
is coming in. Zion too. AD's like, I'm going to buck the trend here. I put on 15 pounds. It just isn't, muscle. So,
well, I mean, so here's the story. Mavs fans concerned. This is from Yahoo. Mavs fans concerned about Anthony Davis's weight gain. He is officially now 268 pounds. Everybody reports their official weights at Media Day, and he was 253 last year when he went into camp with the Lakers. So 15 pounds. I mean, that's significant, but look at the picture here. Look at the side by side of AD as a Laker last season, wearing those cursed jerseys to add Mavs. Like, he is noticeably.
No, you know what it is? It's
what?
Black. Black is flattering, man. Black is.
It's because he's wearing black right there. That's all it is.
Okay. I'm trying to. It's possible. Maybe that's part of it. The black is thinning.
Well, I mean, let me ask you this. Is it a bad thing? Is it, like, should Anthony Davis be putting on weight before we get into whether or not this is muscle or fat or whatever? Should he, even if he's bulking up and it's all muscle, should he be doing that?
I mean, I'm just going to outright say one of my biggest pet peeves is when guys say they put on 15 pounds of muscle in one off season. For an elite level athlete to be able to do that is extremely unlikely. There's probably a lot of water weight in there, probably a little bit of fat in there. It's very unlikely to do that. Anyway, and because they're no longer newbies, they don't get newbie gains. That's a whole different thing. Anyway,
we could talk for hours about muscle growth and all of that.
It's a pretty big pet peeve of mine. But anyway, so on this, like, I don't think he should be seeking to gain weight. I mean, he did have that eye surgery this summer.
Yes.
And maybe that was something that, I mean, it's not his legs or anything, but maybe because of that, he opted to mostly just take it easy, right? And not really get any cardio in. But typically when this happens, it's a compounded thing where it's like, you're not burning as many calories through activity. You're also eating more. And so it's these things combined that kind of get you to gain the weight, especially if it's not muscle in this case. And it's counterproductive, in my opinion. If he wants to play more power forward, he should be trying to lean out. He needs to be going the opposite way, unless he's going to be playing quite a bit of center. I do still think AD is going to play maybe half his minutes at center, but that's not the 99 it's been for the last couple of years for the Lakers, which I think he'd be okay with.
Right.
And so, but with that being the case, I mean, if you want AD to be on the perimeter doing the things he's good at or has been historically good at, he should probably be seeking to slim down. Like, everyone else is slimming down, and AD's gone the opposite way here. And maybe this is a situation where he'll just spend the first couple of months and play his way into shape. I mean, that's not uncommon. In fact, he's done it himself, right?
Yeah.
We've had that happen for the Lakers, where AD comes into camp and he's not in the best of shape, and he spends the beginning of the season getting into playing shape as well.
Anybody who trains knows that protein is key to hitting their goals, but so many of the supplements out there are filled with junk. That's why I was so excited to team up with Transparent Labs, because their 100% grass-fed whey protein isolate does a great job getting you the protein you need in a clean and healthy way. Each serving delivers 28 grams of protein sourced exclusively from grass-fed cows, which means it's higher quality and more nutritious. And using pure isolates rather than cheap concentrates or blends allows you to actually digest and absorb the protein much easier. I'm so glad to find a clean protein powder that finally aligns with my goals, and I love the taste. I tried the cinnamon French toast, and it is awesome. It blends smoothly and easily. It's not chalky, and it doesn't taste artificial or heavy. And if you like variety, there's 14 different flavors that you can try. If you want to try Transparent Labs grass-fed protein for yourself, head down to the description box. For a limited time, they're giving away a protein starter kit with every grass-fed protein subscription. This kit includes a shaker bottle and a variety pack of 5 single-serving protein protein pouches so you can find your favorite flavor. By clicking my link in the description box or by using the QR code, you can also get 10% off your order, which will be applied at checkout. So click the link or scan the QR code to get the offer while supplies last. Well, I mean, the whole thing about, and we can see here the difference between the Mavs and the Lakers. He played 61% of his minutes for the Mavs at center, 39% of his minutes for the Mavs, which again was a very limited sample size because of his injury, but 39% of his minutes with the Mavs at power forward. That's what he was asking the Lakers for years, literally years, asking them to go get another center because he wanted to play more at the four. So to me, while we could talk about, AD, is he going to be, could putting on the weight actually be a positive? Could he be more difficult to handle in the post? Does this give him more protection against the physical play in the post? Potentially, but the whole reason why the Mavs went and got him, why this was like a finally moment for Anthony Davis, that he was able to get something, it's that now they've got the bigs. They've got Daniel Gafford. They've got Derek Lively, who apparently grew over the offseason. I don't know if you saw that story too, but they've got centers on this roster that will allow Anthony Davis to do what he's been asking for years, and the Lakers just never went and got the center to allow him to do it, and that's play power forward. So to me, it's counterintuitive. If you want to spend more minutes at power forward, you've been asking to do it for so long, to put on weight over the summer. I don't think this is going to help him play power forward. It will make him, I think, a bit sturdier at the center position, but I don't think this is exactly. I don't think this is a positive for AD to put on this weight. Should Mavs fans be worried about this? Is this just, man, Texas food, and next thing you know, you've got a problem? I mean, like with Luka, I hesitate to go there. It's very possible he plays his way into shape, and a month or two from now, he's at 255 or 257 or something, and it's no big deal. That's certainly possible. Yeah. But still,
I mean, the irony here is insane with this story.
Right.
That's the word. That's the craziest part about this, is we're talking about Anthony Davis's weight, and the Mavs jettisoned Luka out of there as quickly as they could because of his weight. So and now we've got skinny Luka and fat AD. I have no idea what's happening here. We're in the upside down. This is ridiculous. So
yeah. Mavs fans have got to be throwing their hands up going, what are we supposed to do?
That's ridiculous. I do think, though, in all seriousness, I don't think this is something to be so you don't want him to not be in playing shape at this point. Season right around the corner in a few weeks here. But I think he'll be good to go. I think he'll get into shape. I think if he wasn't dieting strictly, he'll begin soon. He probably already has, frankly. And he'll get into shape. But like I said, this isn't the first time we've seen AD be in camp out of shape. He'll be fine.
I mean, if this is something that sustains, then this will be something else to talk about. Certainly with
it's
the Mavs.
Also that white. I'm telling you, it's that white. That white don't help.
That's all it is. That's all it is. If he wears the Mavs road jerseys, he's going to look great. It's just when he's wearing the home whites.
It's a solid 20% of it, though. I'm telling you, that black versus white color. I mean, look at how much slimmer he looks because of the color he's in too. Now he was in better shape there. Don't get me wrong, but
there's also that's also 15 pounds different. People are going to look, even a dude that's 7 feet tall is going to look different with 15 pounds on or off,
depending where you put it on. Anyway, what if it all goes to your butt? I don't know.
I suppose that could be the case. I'm not even going to touch that comment. All right. Let's talk a little bit about another former Laker that is now a Dallas Maverick. I think he's a wonderful fit, but he constantly has comments like these. And I know it's already rubbed some people the wrong way, the way that D'Angelo Russell is characterized now, his past. Check out what he had to say on Locked On Mavs.
I've been pretty vocal about your fit in Dallas being a great one, and that this is going to be some of the best basketball in your career, and that the fit and everything's going to be awesome. Why am I going to be right?
I think a guy, like me plugging into a system like this, not every team has a coach that's played, has the credibility with the team that's already here, not including me. And you plug me into that. I've had limited structure in my career. So to get to an organization that has, as you can see, full-on structure from the youth, from the coaches, from the veterans, to plug me into something like that, I like my odds too. So we're on the same team. Yep.
Okay, so D'Angelo Russell said he's had limited structure over the course of his career. and kind of takes a little bit of a shot. I mean, that just inherently takes a shot at his previous stops and saying, not every team has a player or a coach who's been a player before, and talking about, Jason Kidd, but saying that the structure has been limited at other places in his career. I've seen, obviously, I get a lot of Lakers fans in my comment section and things like that, and in kind of the lens that I'm looking through things through. But I've seen a lot of, here we go with D'Angelo Russell. He's not accepting any kind of responsibility of his own, no accountability here. Now he's saying it was the lack of structure from his previous stops that created the situations that he was in. I do think he is a phenomenal fit with, I've talked about a lot. I think it's a great fit with his Mavs teams in terms of his play style. But does it bother you when he's saying stuff like, oh, there just hasn't been structure anywhere else in my career?
I mean, no. And that's just kind of whatever. At this point, I don't even, it goes in one ear and out the other. Because the thing is that, and I think it's going to be great for Dallas. Like we both talked about that a lot, like you were saying. I think he just kind of says this stuff all the time, though. Like he's always saying something like this about whatever team he's at or wherever team he's on at that given moment. It's the best thing since sliced bread. He hasn't had this before, and he's so happy to have this now, and all these other things. And he's mostly said that. I mean, he said that stuff last year. He said it the year prior. He said it at prior to the deadline when they traded him to Brooklyn. I don't know who he specifically is referencing or just his career as a whole, but this is more of the same from D'Lo. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he has. I will say, I've always been a little bit sympathetic towards D'Angelo Russell because he made a comment a few years back about how, I'm very much paraphrasing, but like no team has really invested it. Yeah, he hasn't had a home, right? Like every team that he's been on has ultimately moved on from him. And now, the common denominator and all of that, of course, is him. And maybe there's some internal growth that could happen there from that. But he's also right. There's no team that he's got to that said, you are our guy. You're our point guard. It's just, you're our guy for right now until we can move you somewhere else. I mean, that was obviously the plan of the Golden State Warriors when they had him before they moved to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They ultimately moved him. The Lakers got him. They didn't even keep him for that long. He had, I think, the best season of his career a couple of years ago when he was with the Lakers. He was absolutely phenomenal. And even they ultimately moved on from him. And I think they were a better team because of it. But there is something to that where a lot of teams have ultimately parted ways with him and nobody has said, you are our guy. And I don't think that's about to happen here either, because Kyrie is the Mavs guy. D'Lo is the guy to bridge the gap between Kyrie recovering and getting healthy. I think he can play next to Kyrie in some situations, and I think he can play on or off ball well enough. I do love the fit here, but I would like to hear a little bit more accountability from D'Angelo Russell in all of that as well. I think he's a very thoughtful player. I think he's a very smart player. And I do enjoy a lot of what D'Angelo Russell does on the basketball court. But it is a bit odd when he keeps talking about, the previous stops. And like you said, this is the first time I'll have ever had this thing. And in this case, it being structure. Yeah. I don't buy that in all of the stops he had, including the Warriors, including the Lakers, including the Wolves, everywhere else, that he hasn't had structure over the course of his career. I just don't, that just doesn't have the ring of truth to me.
Yeah, maybe he is hung up on the first stint in LA. I mean, some of that lack of structure was his own doing.
And that was a difficult situation. You're coming, you're coming in to a very young team, and you're dealing with all the end of the Kobe stuff and all of that. Yeah.
So maybe that's a lot of where that is. The team was in a certain place at that time, but I mean, it's been 10 years almost. Like it's been a while. So I think that maybe it's best to move on past that personally. But hopefully now, this is the time for him to find what he's looking for. I wanted to say also there's a bit of a through line here between both of these stories, because during media day, AD had a comment where he says, and I have the quote, I know there is a narrative in the league that he can't win or he's not a winner. It's all about situations. We talked before he signed. He's ready. We're getting a motivated D'Lo this year. So he's coming in super motivated this year. I feel like obviously there's a lot of different potential outcomes for both of those guys and for the team. They could go as far as win it all if everything goes their way. Sure, I could see that. Like there's a reality out there where that's the case. Probably not the most likely, but it could happen. But I just think it's interesting that they're talking about how there's this narrative around there, and the problem with like trying to debunk narratives is that sometimes the narrative is established for a reason. And in this case with D'Lo, I think that there's a lot of truth in the narrative around him. That doesn't mean he can't win. That doesn't mean he can't be a good player. That doesn't mean all the other things you want to throw out there. I just need to see it from him. So hopefully he's motivated. Hopefully when the time comes and they call his number and he's able to perform pretty well, because he had a great year a couple of years ago. But when it truly mattered the most,
in the playoffs,
he was a no-show.
And that's where I think, and he's talked about it, that he's at an athleticism deficit compared to a lot of other guys in the NBA. I think he's literally called himself the least athletic player in the league.
Yeah, he's always got good sound bites.
Right. And you know what, like, is he really the least athletic player? Well, there's a dude named Slow-Mo Anderson in this league, right? I mean, so I don't know if he's actually the least athletic, but one of them, certainly. And so there is some truth to that. And in the playoffs, when defensive intensity ramps up, and that, I think that athleticism deficit becomes a bigger deal at that point. But that's part of why I love him on the Mavs so much, is because he's got all the defensive pieces around him he could ever want. When we talk about Anthony Davis, you got Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. They've got guys. They've even got his former Lakers teammate, Max Christie. They've got guys around him that can help make up for that lack of athleticism, that lack of defense, and can allow him to shine and just focus on the things that he does well. So I really do think this is going to be a very good fit for him. But you're right. If he wants to dispel the narrative around him, and if he wants to show that, hey, structure was an issue prior to this, and now it's not, and now he's going to hit that, great. He's going to have to do it, but not just in the regular season. He'll have to do that in the postseason as well.
What's the over-under we hear comments like this again from him in the next couple of years?
Oh, man. You mean, is it likely like he was somewhere else and saying the same thing about structure?
Yeah, basically. So maybe not structure specifically, but something else where it's like clearly he's alluding to a previous experience.
I think fairly likely. I think pretty likely. Like, I'm smashing the over on that.
Yeah, that's my main point, is that he's always saying something like this. And he's not the only guy in the league. No. I don't mean to single him out in that way. It's just we always have these from him specifically. And the big problem for me is with all of it is that, dude, like when you got the real chance to really make a name for yourself, you no-showed. Like in that situation, if he even played 75% of himself, they probably win that series and could have won the title that year.
You're talking about the Western Conference Finals against Denver
a couple of years ago, where he was putting up bagels and 2 points, whatever. And then the entire narrative around him and his career is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all different. And so, like, to me, I don't know if he'll get another chance like that. I hope he gets the opportunity to show up. And he was in, and this is where, like, I always throw all these things because I know the way people think and try to rebuttal some of the stuff I will say. He had big games in that run. Like, he was instrumental in winning against Golden State, all that stuff. It's just when it got to the final round that they played in, it was bad. So I think that is kind of where a lot of these narratives come from. The fact his previous playoff stints also, or stint, I think he only had one, wasn't great either. But he is a really talented player. I think he's going to fit in great. And if he's motivated, I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to see him come out. I want to see him be a killer. I want to see him do all the things that he did a couple of years ago in that year where he was really good leading up to that point. And I think that these guys could be awesome. And I don't want to hear any more sound bites like this from D'Lo personally. I'm all D'Lo'd out. I
want to see highlights from D'Lo showing what the difference is. That's what I want to see. Not just hearing it, but we'll see. You know, again, big season for the Mavs. I think they are going to be a very good team. I'm higher on them, I think, than most. I think the pieces fit. But I don't know. Anthony Davis can't be Fat Thor. Can't do it. He can't do it.
Hey, Thor shed that real fast, man.
I'm just saying, yeah, and maybe AD does as well. Maybe he needs to go, you know, to get the chains and do the workout and all that kind of stuff like Thor did. I don't know. Maybe that's what he'll do. But everybody, give us your thoughts in the comments down below. Is it a problem that Anthony Davis is weighing in 15 pounds heavier now that he is a Dallas Maverick? Looks noticeably heavier. Is that a problem for the Mavs? Is this what should be happening? Give us your thoughts in the comment section. What about D'Angelo Russell saying he hasn't had structure elsewhere in his career? How do you take that? Let us know in the comment section, everybody. Till next time. See ya and stay safe.